On today's episode of Undercover Boss, the president and COO of Orkin, one of the most trusted names in pest control, goes undercover. By working in the front lines, this COO will face anything from bees to rodents.
Everywhere I look, I'm surrounded by cockroaches.
But how will he react when he's confronted with the worst infestation he's ever seen? And what will his workers say when they find out that he's been the boss all along?
Really?
Stay with us to see this and much more on today's episode of Undercover Boss. Headquartered in Atlanta, Georgia, Orkin is a pest control giant that keeps nearly 2 million customers pest-free all around the world, cashing in a revenue of over $1.3 billion a year and leading the company's 8,000 employees as president and COO John Wilson. Orkin was founded by Otto Orkin in 1901, and he started his business by selling rat poison door to door. Orkin has now become the most recognizable and biggest pest control brand in America. John was born in Memphis, Tennessee, and his father worked for Orkin since John was 2 years old. John would visit his father's workplace on Saturdays and learned a lot from it, and he started to work at Orkin as a branch manager and got promoted to regional manager, and he was also so good at that job, now he is the COO of the company. John values how Orkin treated his father during his time there, showing him respect and even helping him out when he had medical problems. He believes in these values and wants to run the company the same way, and he thinks that the best way to approach this and find out what the employees actually need and also discover some of the problems within the company is to go undercover. He will be going undercover as Bob, and his employees will be told that he's a contestant on a reality show competing to win money to start his own business. For his first job, he travels to Lafayette, Louisiana to work as a pest control service specialist, and there he meets up with Chris, who takes him directly to a customer's house to assess the situation. They get into the kitchen, and when Chris opens the cabinet, they see that it's been infested with roaches.
Everywhere I look, I'm surrounded by cockroaches.
You see under there, a lot of dead ones and a lot of...
They then go to the other rooms and find roaches everywhere. John gets a little freaked out as he's overwhelmed with the sheer number of roaches, as this many of them are a big health hazard. Chris then talks to the customers and they agree on a plan to get rid of the roaches. John observes Chris in action and he sees that he's got great sales skills and is very impressed by him. Later they grab their equipment and start sucking the roaches into a vacuum and killing them. There were too many and they couldn't get rid of all of them, but they were done for the day. On their way back, John learns Chris joined the company when he got a pest problem, and he went to Orkin and then saw a job opportunity and applied, and he got a small role at first, but he's now been promoted to his position. But he explains that the pay was very low and he plans to grow within the company, and John was happy to hear this and plans to make promotion for pest specialists easier. The next day, John travels to Baton Rouge, Louisiana to work with a service specialist, and there he meets Johnny, who gives him a little motivational speech so that he won't be scared of rats. They then go into the customer's house for a monthly inspection, and he instructs John on how to properly inspect and clear off pests. Johnny's got a good relationship with customers, and John learns he even works when he is sick and that he got hernia but only got it checked out because this customer insisted.
How have you been feeling?
Feeling fine, feeling fine.
You sure? What has your hernia done?
I haven't had to work
I
done yet.
know you haven't.
Yeah, I was gonna get it.
John is grateful to have this dedicated employee, but thinks Johnny should also be taking care of himself and not put his health on the line. And later on their lunch break, he learns that the employee bonus program has been stopped for some time, which used to massively help Johnny and support his family. The next day, he travels to LA, California to work as a service inspector, and there he meets with Aaron, who was inspecting a beehive formed on a tree that could potentially have 10,000 bees inside. John was scared of getting stung by a bee and cries in front of the camera, but Aaron tells him that the bee suit will protect him. So they put on their suits and start exposing the hive, and they then use a dust filter to start removing the bees, which gets the bees very angry and makes John really nervous. But with Aaron's skills, they manage to get rid of the bees without getting stung. On their break, John learns that Aaron loved zoology and was in college studying insects, but he wasn't able to finish because his wife got cancer and he had to get a full-time job to support his new family. Aaron is happy with his job, but he wants to get back to school in the future. And finally, for his last job, John travels to Arizona. There he meets with a pest specialist, Paisley, and she takes him to a customer's house for a termite reinspection. They get inside and start inspecting for any surviving termites, and they talk about what other pests Paisley had encountered before on the job. She tells him that she's been stung by a scorpion before and jokes about how this might be part of his initiation into the job. After watching her inspect, she gives him the lead to inspect as well, and he starts missing some places, but she helps him out and they finish the inspection. On their way back, he learns that Paisley is pregnant and is expecting a baby girl soon, and he also learns that she will be a single mom as the father has left. She also tells him her problems with the company, mainly being the rules that don't allow drivers to use the AC after some amount of time, and this rule was made not to waste energy, but it shouldn't exist anymore in the state of Arizona where the heat is pretty extreme. John takes note of this and plans to improve this for the future. He's also happy with Paisley's performance and her personality, and he also notes that she's one of the few female specialists, and he says that he plans to get more women inside the company. John's undercover time has now come to an end, and he invites his employees to his office to reveal his true identity. First in was Chris, and he commends him for his hard work and offers him a mentor program so he could get a promotion sooner, and then gives him $15,000 for each of his children for their college fund, and Chris was very grateful to hear this and thanks John for the offer. Next in was Johnny, and he tells him that he had the best time with him, and then offers to pay for his medical bills, and also offers to pay for his sick leave, and gives him a paid vacation and another $30,000 as a bonus payment, and promises to reinstate the bonus program. And next was Aaron's turn, and he tells him that he was impressed by his passion for his work and offers him to come to the headquarters to take a training program for a better position, and he also offers him a paid vacation for him and his family, and on top of that he gives him $15,000 for his son's college tuition and another $15,000 so he can get back to college and finish his studies. Last in was Paisley, and he tells her that even though she hasn't been with the company for long, he sees a future for her and encourages her to keep working harder, and he then offers her $15,000 for her child college fund and another $20,000 so she can get into a better home and raise her child in a safe environment, and he then gives her a brand new Ford car to replace her old one.
What's this?
That's the key to a Ford Escape.
And Paisley jumps up and hugs him as she was really excited and happy, and they go out to reveal her car and she couldn't even believe her eyes. In the week since, Chris was able to spend more time with his family now that their school was paid for. Aaron is planning to return to college in the fall and is getting his training program. Johnny is taking his family to the Bahamas after scheduling his hernia surgery. And lastly, Paisley will be bringing her baby to a brand new home.